Hey everybody, welcome back to another Deck Profile Friday. It's been a long time since I've said that, but an actual Deck Profile Friday where I'll go over an actual standard deck right now, or maybe even a retro deck or a GLC deck, right? You know, uh, I usually show one of those, um, each Friday, and this one here is pretty special because this is gonna go over the League Challenge deck that I used this week. I didn't end up going too well, just because I hit a couple bad matchups, but I also wanted to play it because I wanted to give it the respect it deserves. Because this is the last weekend, basically, that this deck will be, you'll be able to use it in official tournament play. As obviously the rotation is next week for EUIC, right? The European International Championship. So we're going to be rotating all the cards from E block. They're going to be all out, so that means Battle Styles, Chilling Rain, Evolving Skies, Celebrations, and Fusion Strike, right? Those cards are all going to be gone from standard format, right? And there's a lot of good cards in those sets, right? And I wanted to show off, some of the best cards from those sets, as this deck is mainly comprised of cards from those sets. So, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. And probably the biggest deck that is leaving, and it's probably the greatest deck of all time. It's the most legendary deck of ever. Having um, being printed for two different world championships, having won one of them in the Masters division. I'm talking about Mew VMax. And I'm really sad to see this go. This is a lot of fun to play. Um, it's like I said, one of the greatest decks of all time, if not the greatest deck. It's got a built-in draw engine, and you're able to copy pretty much any attack like Mew does, right? You're able to disrupt. There's two different versions. You can play it with the Fusion Strike version or the Double Turbo, right? The original that came out in Fusion Strike, everybody was playing with the Fusion Strike engine. And then later on switched, after Brilliant Stars got released, to the Double Turbo version, because that's where the energy came out, right? And yeah, this deck's all about drawing cards, copying that attack, and boosting the damage to get those one-shot knockouts, right? So yeah, there you go. But without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So to start, we'll just do the Pokemon. There's only 12. We got 3 Mew VMax, right? The main attacker. 4 Mew V, right? Nice consistent card here. We got 4 Genesect V. And then lastly, my single secret spicy tech, a Cramorant from Lost Origin. So, Mew VMax there, 310 HP, no retreat cost, resistance to fighting, weakness to dark. So this thing was absolutely getting annihilated by all the dark types over the past, year, right? Eternus, Galarian Weezing was a big one. In the pre-rotation, right? Pre-battle styles onward, when they're still allowing D-block. And now more recently, with, it being battle styles onward, right? You got Charizard, which is another incredibly bad matchup. You literally can't win. And then obviously Roaring Moon is another big one. So, because it just, Calamity Storms and then, discards their stadium and then, one-shots you, right? And even then, like, you knock it out, they always have a Galarian Moltres V on the bench, right? Which is also getting rotated as it's from Chilling Rain, or a second Roaring Moon, and then they just return KO, right? That's why I like the Cramorant in here, right? So I'll get to the Cramorant right now. Cramorant is such a good attacker in here because there's so many times that you lost zone your own stuff. Like, you're already putting a card from your hand with Lost Vacuum to lost zone something, right? But the amount of times that you would, lost zone your own Forest Seal Stone, right? I do that honestly. Like, if they have something in play that I need to get rid of, sure, I'll remove it, right? Like, if they have their own path to the peak, I'm like, yeah, okay, right? But if they got some dumb tool like a Forest Seal Stone in play, like Charizard does when they played on the Lumineon or the Rotom, right? And I got mine, I'm just gonna do mine, right? Why would I care about removing their tool, right? I'm gonna do mine, get that second card into the lost zone, into my lost zone, and then I'm one more vacuum away from a Spit Innocently for 110, right? And that's incredibly useful because with that, you're able to, weaken a Charizard, right? And then you can come in with a Mew VMax and then Power Tablet and slap it for 220, right? So, and then that's a perfect knockout, right? Because it's got 330, right? Or like little single prize attackers, right? It's great against Lost Zone decks. You can just knock out their Cramorant, right? No biggie. Just incredibly useful. Yeah, so the second attack on Mew VMax Max Miracle 130, not affected by any effects on your opponent's active, so it's a wall breaker. That's what I call it. Mew V there, 180 HP, same retreat cost, resistance, and weakness. The first attack, Energy Mix, you don't really use because you don't have Psychic. But the second attack, Psychic Leap, does 70 for a Psychic and one colorless. You'll use that from Mew VMax from time to time. Like, you'll set up, two Mew VMax and a Mew V in play, and then you'll just use that to cycle your damaged Mew VMax into the deck, and you'll just keep doing that, right? You'll just keep looping them, and it's just incredibly useful just to, take away prizes from your opponent, and especially if in those matchups where you're where you're not weak to them, right? So yeah, just incredibly useful. Genesect there, it's our draw engine fusion strike system, right? With the ability draw cards up until the number of fusion strike Pokemon you have in play till your hand size matches basically the same amount, right? So if you got 5 and you got 3 cards in your hand, you're drawing 2 cards, right? I say 5 too, right? Because sometimes you will have that Cramorant in play. With Cramorant there, it's typically best to not put it down, right? It's best to be a surprise card, right? And then obviously Genesect there, that's the main attack that we're going to be copying, is its Techno Blast for 210, and then during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So these two Pokemon were basically made together, right? It's like Lugia and Archeops, right? Or Charizard and Pidgeot. All those, Urshifu and Teleon, right? It's all those Pokemon. They're just kind of made together, and I kind of like those, right? I like it when they make stuff like that, right? Rather than just kind of selecting, a couple things from, a bunch of sets, right? And making it into a whole deck, right? So, yeah, that's the Pokemon line. So next, we will go over the trainer cards. So supporters first, and stadiums, triple judge, both shuffle and draw 4. 2 boss, right? Boss is really clutch. This is actually at my league challenge there, I was so close to beating Charizard, right? I had gotten the boss return and I fusion strike system. I had 4 cards left in my deck and I needed the Mew VMax to win, and it was the last card. I would have knocked out either the Lumineon or the Rotom. And yeah, I was just pretty disappointed about that. Like, and then the next game, so I had to buy first round, then I played Charizard. Literally, I had that game in the bag had I drawn Mew VMax. And then the next game was against Roaring Moon, so that was not really too great, of a time there. Completely thrashed me. I had Path in play, and then right away they bumped the Path, and I'm like, oh, bro, like, what do I do here, right? I got an Iono in here, right? Good draw, and then triple Path, right? So I was kind of debating on 4 Path or 3 Path, 1 Lost City, right? As the Lost City could be pretty useful. But I just ended up sticking with this. I feel like my list right now is basically perfect. So there's not really much that I would do in here, as I feel it's teched for pretty much every single matchup, and with the obviously the addition of the Cramorant. So trainer cards, 4 battle VIP pass. This card's going to be leaving. It's unfortunate, but it's also good at the same time. And allows us to, to get rid of, or to get out, I guess, Pokemon that, Buddy Poffin from the new set, Temporal Forces, doesn't, right? So, like, Radiance, Vs, basic EXs, right? All that stuff. 4 Crushing Hammer, right? So you can play this, or you can play Grabber. Grabber's another really good one that I like, but I do like this, especially versus Charizard, just because of the amount of energy that they play, right? Could be pretty huge. 4 Lost Vacuum, right? So another really good card. You need 4. You can, burn a card in your hand too, right? So you actually, it's really a minus card, right? If you're familiar with that Yu-Gi-Oh term, plus minus, right? You're playing the card, so that's a -1. You're discarding another card, so that's another -1. So it's a -2, right? And then if you're removing your own stuff, it's a -3, but you're actually plussing because you're drawing cards from the Genesect, right? So you're actually going to be doing +2, and then the card that you remove, you're feeding the Lost Zone, right? So it's actually a +1 there for Cramorant. So that's what I really like about that card. Power Tablet for these, +30, good card. 4 Ultra Ball. All right, so 4 Ultra Ball, we can discard 2 cards from our hand, search for a Pokemon, so it's great because we get any Pokemon, and we reduce our hand size again, much like Lost Vacuum. That's the 4 ofs, the 3 ofs. 3 Cram-O-Matic. I don't really like 4 in here, right? I think 3 is perfect, right? Discard a card from your hand, but it's got to be an item, and then flip coin of heads, search your deck for a card, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So not too bad, but this card does it way better. 4 Seal Stone, right? You play triple. Search your deck for any card and put it into your hand, right? It's just a straight 1-to-1 trade-off. So, really good. That's the 4s and the 3s. I will show the singles and doubles. Actually, I don't even think there is any doubles. So, the singles, Box of Disaster, right? Just a great card here. They take 8, right? So it's very relevant. As it just reduces their HP, right? And so you can just come in, slap them with a Mew VMax, right? Or if they used Gardevoir's Psychic Embrace on, let's say, like a Zacian, right, or something, right? Put a bunch of damage, and then you put that on, right? You add that on, they knock you out. They knock themselves out, right? So they'll probably play around it. Choice Belt, +30 to Vs, so another really good one. Escape Rope, good switch card. Feather Ball, More Pokemon search here, right? So I really like this. Nest Ball, basic Pokemon search, Pelpad, shuffle 2 supporters, 4th judge, 3rd boss. Actually, could be your 5th judge as well. 3rd and 4th boss, or 2nd and 3rd Iono, right? Pardon me, only 2nd Iono because there's only one. Super Rod, great card to get back our Mews. And Cramorant, by the way. I've definitely done that for a Cramorant as well. Switch card, so another really good card here. And then lastly, Tactical Machine Devolution, right? So another good Charizard counter in here. Yeah, pretty stoked with that list. So that is all the trainer cards. And then lastly, we got the energies. So the energies are really simple. 4 double turbo energies. All right, that's the basic energy of the deck. No Fusion Strike. I don't think we need to play any of that Fusion Strike crap. You know, Spirit Tomb is not being played. And it's already been shown that, you know, Charizard, you know, obviously, you know, beats, I don't know, like, a lot of decks beat Mew VMax. So, I don't know. I just don't really think you need to play it, so. But there you go, everybody. That is the deck. Let me know what you think. And yeah, this is the last deck profile from this format. We'll be moving next week into another format, the F block onwards. So Brilliant Stars onwards. That's brilliant. We're gonna be yeah, doing some stuff with that one. So but yeah, there you go, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, once again, I will see you in the next video.